Hey, good people. It is KaCey here, co founder and executive director of Help and Empower Youth, and happy Giving Tuesday. Now, I hope that amongst all of Black Friday and Cyber Monday yesterday, that you saved a little coin to support organizations like us, like Helping Empower Youth, and so many others. I'm not going to start naming names because this is how you get in trouble, right? But I know that I've made some personal donations this morning, this afternoon, and we have been flooding social media with video clips and snippets from board members, supporters, youth participants, co-founders, so that you all have an opportunity to really get a full grasp of what it means to be a part of this Hey family. And I want to share some of those with you. I want to prep them. And so there will be a little bit of commentary that you will hear from me prior to each of the videos. And then there's a full kind of edited version. There's two actually on our YouTube channel. And so I want you all to take a look at that. You can go over to youtube.com/@ you have to put the @ hey underscore Atlanta, and you can view the entire videos in their entirety. So here we go. We're going to kick this thing off with Traymon Deadweiler, who is one of our board members, and he's going to discuss what it means to serve on Hay's board.
I'm Trey Detweiler, a board member for Hay. I serve with helping empower youth for a number of different reasons. One, I believe in this mission. I remember KaCey and I have been in this youth development world for a number of years. We've worked together on a lot of large projects, national and local. And when we had an opportunity to do something right here in our city with students that used to look like us, and young people that used to do the same things that we used to do, we had an opportunity, and I definitely wanted to jump on board and support. Philanthropy is the fulcrum of basically all of our work. If we have great philanthropy supporting our work, we can do even more. But also, if you think about it, what we're trying to do is not necessarily just put a Band-Aid on the problem. We're actually trying to eradicate the problem, solve the problem. And philanthropy is a big engine for that to occur. And so the better we are in not only connecting great programming to our great number of hearts and minds out there and great hands, the better we're able to do that, the better we can actually serve the people that we are called to serve. One of the things that I would say, being fully funded will allow us to really expand beyond where we are in this part of the city. We know that the challenges that we are attempting to solve here are not just happening in one part of Atlanta, one part of the region, one part of the state, but they're happening all over the country. And I think we have a model that can be codified, can be used all over the country, maybe even all over the world. And I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to really test and move and put some things into place, some systems in place that others across the country and across the world can do the same. I think one of the challenges when we think about the philanthropic community and the funding community is that a lot of times the agencies with the larger marketing budgets get the better funding or get more funding. And I think it's really important for you to identify or not confuse great marketing with effectiveness. But I do want you to look at, for those of us that are looking at Hay and looking at a sound investment into great programming, great leadership, you start to judge by efficacy. You've been doing really great work over the years. Don't just look at the flash and the hoopla. Look at who's actually creating not just good outputs, but actually good outcomes for the work they're doing. Hay is a fun place to be, and we always need volunteers. So please come out and join us and help us.
All right. So thank you to Trey for sharing some of his musings and his observations around this work that we do. And like I said, we're going to really be sharing a lot of what our young people have to say as well, because this isn't just about the adults in the space. As you all know, it's important for us to hear from our young people too. So next up is going to be Eli.
Is Elijah. They call me Eli. And my relations to Hay is that I'm a youth participant. There we go, I was trying to remember. So what Hay means to me is like opportunity, like automatically. Cause when I first, like when Miss KaCey and Coach Boyd heard of me, I was probably somewhere doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. So basically like they helped me with a lot. Like they showed me how to like live when I get older. Like they helped me with a lot of things, like financially and everything. So Hay means a lot to me. I've been with Hay for like 3 years, so it's like they have kept me out of a whole lot of trouble. Like it was stuff that I get into, like, and Hay just helped me out with it, like a lot. Like that's why I be devastated, cause I have nowhere I can go after school to keep me, like, how I put it, to keep me active, like to keep me out of trouble and yeah, keep me out of the way. Before I came with Hay, my communication was just like off. Like I didn't know how to communicate with nobody. So like they not only helped me learn how to communicate, they also helped me with a lot, like my vocabulary. They taught me how to talk when it's certain times to talk, like in meetings or in interviews and stuff like that. So that's what Hay have done for me. I wish people knew that Hay is like something that's good for the youth. And I just want people to know that Hay is here for opportunity to help the younger people get through life and know about life before we get out there, because nothing else teaches us how to get through life. So that's something that I could say that Hay does for us, to teach us about like the ways of life and how it's like, how life is. Like they even teach us about businesses and everything. So I just feel like that's what they help us out with a lot.
So that was Eli, and he was sharing a little bit about his journey and his story and some of the things that he's grown in and matured in while being a part of Hay. And so we are really excited to have him as a part of our family. I am now going to share a longer video, and this has some of our older young people, and you'll see Eli in this one as well. But it really gives you a little bit of the pivot story, because our origin story started so long ago. I said that like I'm an old lady. But I mean, literally, it's been more than 10 years now, and that's a long time in this nonprofit game. But our origin story was 2009, Old Fourth Ward Boulevard, working with a lot of the younger kids. And 2020 was a pivot for all of us. We know that. And so this next video is really going to discuss what happened at that kind of crossroads for us to determine what we were going to do next. So I am going to cue that up for us right now so that we can really hear from these young people.
I go by JP.
My name is Antonio.
My name Mario.
My name Elijah.
And my name Lil Quinn.
My name Lil Kai.
My name is Addison, but I go by AD.
My name is Sergio.
What's up? My name Quint. One thing I live by.
Be respectful and just thank God for another day.
Don't be sorry, be better, because I feel like it's always room for improvement.
Respect. Respect who you want to get respected by.
I say loyalty, cause you could be respectful and then still cross somebody.
I'm serious about business. That's what I live by.
Very helpful to my people that's around me.
I'll be known for never stopping. Like I was always at it, moving. Like really, nothing really stopped me. Like I ain't really let nothing stop me.
Hardworking, I get the job done, good looking, smart, very outthinking, very outgoing.
They assume I'm just a young person out here making dumb decisions, selling stuff that I'm supposed to be selling.
9 times out of 10, since I'm black, they might think it's something bad because I'm walking on Like, I'll probably be somewhere and they'll be like, oh, he probably selling drugs or something like that.
People might see me as a thug too when they get me, but that ain't what I am though. Like, you feel me? I like to get money. I like to stay out the way.
I think people assume I'm a good entrepreneur, I'm a good man.
But I don't never let the bad get with the good, 'cause I know who I am and how good I can be. So I don't never like, a lot of people might say bad stuff about me, but I don't let that get to me. I be thinking about the positive stuff.
We just stepped up to a business. Hey, hydrate with the water and things like that. So now they should think like something good.
We doing this filtered water bottle. Well, if we put like dirty water in it, it'll filter the water and then you can drink it. Like the bottle, it'll filter it.
One-stop shop with the water. One-stop shop with the water. One-stop shop with the water. Yeah, we got the water. $4 one-stop shop. Yeah, $4 one-stop shop. One-stop shop. One-stop shop.
A relationship began, really unbeknownst to all of us. And we realized that while it was not the safest thing, it was a necessity for a lot of them. Getting some safety vests that looked like bullhorns and lawn chairs sitting at the corner where folks would say things like we were encouraging them to, be aggressive at these intersections.
So what do you do with the money y'all get?
I just stack it up.
Yeah, you saving it? What you saving it for?
You might get older. Okay, we need. You might come across some.
Well, I don't know, you saving for a car, for school?
A car.
Just,
I want
just
that
saving,
save. I want Mustang. I want something in my bank. What's up? My name Quint. One thing I live by, you feel me? One thing I live by is like going around like you got, like me, I got to have some type of money in my pocket. I ain't gonna care. Like, money, I ain't gonna care. I can't do nothing without you. You really can't. Like, I want people to know that I'm a good young man, who really to work with anybody, make sure the next person good, especially if I mess with them, you feel me, like that. Stuff like that.
I want people to know me for how respectful I am and that when people need me that I'm there.
I just play basketball and going to how to make money. That's it.
I rap though, so you feel me? I want people to know like, oh yeah, he a big time rapper when they see me. I want folks to know like, not to play with me when they see me.
I'm going from point A to B as quick as possible. I think they'll see me and be like, oh, he look like he doing something.
One of my goals is to not only be successful for myself, but be successful for my family.
My goal is to have me an apartment by 21.
I want to be in the NBA.
When I turn 18 this year, I want to try to get into in real estate, so I can start my real estate license. One thing I think had taught me with is like staying out the street, because I feel like if I never met Miss KaCey, and Miss KaCey really ain't just come in and try to help her and talk to her, I feel like I'd be either in jail right now, just for doing dumb stuff. But like with Miss KaCey, she'll talk to her, she'll come, have her come over here to the Hay House, just for us to have somewhere we could be in like a different environment from how we'll be out there. Ain't okay, crazy out there though. But Miss KaCey really helped me with that, staying out the street.
Some of the stories are heartbreaking. It makes me cry even today when I think about some of the things that our young men have endured. It was an opportunity for two folks who were AmeriCorps members to continue to serve their community.
I'm Coach Boyd, co-founder and director of programming here at Hay, Helping Empower Youth.
I know that I'm personally grateful for the day that Coach Boyd said, hey, have you seen a group of young men on the corner? They've been selling water. I'm like, yeah, I've recognized them before. And then the next conversation was, well, maybe we should take them something to eat. Yeah, we started Hay as a way to give back. There wasn't a lot of thought into what it would grow into.
And if it helps the neighbors just that much, then Hay will be glad to be able to provide.
we wanted to figure out how could we better provide options for them without them feeling as though they were wrong or criminals or that they were the bad guy, the villain in this story.
He taught me how to fix bikes.
They gave me like the regular knowledge for tools and bikes and things like that.
He taught me really a lot, keep me out of trouble.
And they also teach us like life things and the way to use our right life choices and stuff.
We're getting ready for our bike riding, apprentice bike riding program that we're going to be launching here, where kids are going to be coming daily after school, and after they get their homework help, we're going to be getting some time in fixing bikes. First, everybody's gonna be able to personalize their own bike, sand them down, get them painted to the colors of their own choices, and take a little bit of ownership with the bike.
I really believe that by the virtue of them being born in Atlanta, that there's this hustle that is in their DNA that's gonna make them be successful and thrive and survive by any means necessary.
Really want to hustle. Like, you can hustle all different ways. Like, he taught me how to switch up the hustle a little better, like
how to build businesses from it, like LLCs and stuff like that.
More out there with building people and stuff like that.
Like I could go on and on with that on top of me though, but some like I most taught it like respect, like learn how to like move as I got older and older. I got manners. I know how to talk to people.
I'm a selfless person. Like in most cases, I think about other people more than myself.
I'm gonna be some. That's what I want people. People probably believe that, but that's what I want. I'm gonna be some one day, for sure. I'm gonna be some.
I just want to be known to be like the best football player, like the best of the best.
I'm talking and I'm muted. That's the joy of technology. What I was saying is that those are my boys. Those are my babies. Those are my children. They're all of our children, honestly, if we think about it. We know that if you are living here in Atlanta, you have heard our 61st mayor, the Honorable Mayor Andre Dickens, discuss that Atlanta is this group project. But one of the things that he said earlier this year in January, as he kicked off the year of the youth here in Atlanta, was that we want to be able to use an old African greeting, which is, how are the children? And we want to be able to say that all the children are well. Because if the children are well, then that means the community is thriving, that families are thriving. And if our children are not well, then there's something amiss. There's something that isn't quite connecting because our children are ultimately suffering as a result of it. And I'll be honest, we have a lot of work left to do in this city. I love this city, the good, the bad, the indifferent. I take it all. I own it all, right? The parts that I wish were different and better, there's something I can do. There's a way that I can sew into that. And that's the same thing that we want to teach these young people that come and who are a part of this work that we do at Help and Empower Youth. We want them to see that they have ownership in this city that is rightfully theirs, that this is their city by birthright, by DNA. We got people flying in from all over the place, right? And I can say that now because I've been here 25 years, okay? Like, I got a little bit of old Atlanta, and I've seen some of the change, and folks are steady coming in and taking advantage of all that the city has to offer. But yet, our young people, by birthright, deserve every good thing that comes out of the city. And it is our hope that through the work that we do, the programs that we create with them, and not just for them, it gives them an opportunity for them to understand how they are able to take full advantage of that same opportunity. So, queuing up another video for you all. And this one is going to talk a little bit from a perspective of what is it going to take from a board member's perspective to really move the needle for help and empower youth. So here's Aaron Johnson.
Johnson. I am a board member for Helping Empower Youth. The decision to serve on Hay's board wasn't a hard one. When I met KaCey, it was actually doing work. So a lot of times in this space, what you'll find is the utilization of really big words and high level words that garner tons of feelings, but they are not often followed by true work that is done for love or out of love. And when I met KaCey, I could see that she was doing the work out of love. So when she asked me, I said, sure. Philanthropy is important to organizations like Hay because it's about extending a hand of resources to organizations that are truly doing the work, not ego-driven, but for the actual love of the people, and particularly young people in Hay's case. Being fully funded would sustain Hay through a myriad of different ways. Not only would it fund programming, but it would fund the extension of love through everyone who is a part of Hay. Not only the volunteers, but also through people who are employed through Hay and the young people who are experiencing and growing and flourishing through Hay. So fully funded looks like more resources. It looks like more food. It looks like more learning. It looks like love. The funding community needs to know that organizations like Hay are out here. They need to know that while the waters may be muddy, there are organizations out here who are truly doing the heavy lifting, who are truly building relationships. I'll take a note from a esteemed CEO here in the nonprofit space, Nathaniel Smith. He says, change moves at the speed of trust. And I've grown to think that change or trust moves at the speed of relationships. It is important for organizations to know that fully funding organizations like Hay, you are funding change. You are funding relationships. You are funding my favorite word, love. Hay is love. And love looks like hard conversations. Love looks like waking up in the middle of the night and having a conversation with a young person. Love looks like telling a young person no. Love looks like looking inside of yourself and seeing where you may lack so that you don't traumatize others. Hay is love.
Oh, and to use Aaron's favorite word, I love that. I love it. Work never stops. So while I'm doing this, still questions and martyr card requests and all that coming through. But yes, Hay is love. Like, we can't do this work if we did not love our young people, if we didn't love community. And so, that just warms my heart to hear him describe the work that we do that way. So this next one is going to be Mario, and Mario is going to share a little bit about his experience as well, being a part of the Hay family. As soon as I can find it here we go. Here's Mario.
Damari is, I'm one of the Hay youth. Hay mean like family to me for real, cause Hay really helped me stay off the streets and out of trouble. Hay taught me life lessons and skills that I want to learn in the future. How to aim, like archery and stuff. They taught me how to build homesteads and stuff like that. So I really matured my anger, and Hay helped me mature my anger because At first, I used to just be mad at everything and at everybody, but Hay taught me to like not let nobody control me or get in my head.
What is something you wish that others knew about Hay?
That we need more opportunities and funding.
Y'all heard it from the babies. More opportunities and more funding is necessary. Y'all hear me say it over and over and over again. Hopefully, you already know what I'm about to say. Is that poverty is expensive, so doing good costs. A lot of times, folks assume that good work should be free. And in an idealistic world, in a utopia, it would be. Serving people, meeting their needs should not cost money, but it does. And inflation is running rampant right now. And so even those small things that we do are costly when you have 5, 10, 20, 25 young people that are pulling on you. I'll be honest, there are days where I can't put my phone down because it's back to back. So much so that there are times like, are y'all all sitting together? Right? Like I'm trying to figure out how to best serve you because this person has called and that person's called. And then we get a 30-minute break and then another round of calls are coming in with requests, be it food, motor cars. I got an interview, but I don't have the right clothing. I had a ride, but then my ride left me and now I'm stuck. And whatever it may be, I'm having an issue with school. I did my work, but my credits aren't showing up. And it's constantly meeting these needs, providing this essential service, filling these gaps for young people. What I love about our organization, if I can kind of, toot our own horn a little bit and be a little bit arrogant, is that we do a lot of the work that other organizations are not equipped to do. And that is because a lot of organizations serve lots more kids than we do. And they're necessary. Hear me. By keeping our work small, we can do that deep work versus casting that wide net. But in doing that deep work, that means other needs are uncovered. And there are kind of core families that we work with, and we drill down as far as we can go to really ensure that those families have what they need so that ultimately those young people have what they need. And so that means that sometimes we don't have the glamorous numbers of 500 kids served in 1 year, right? Some of that work we're able to do through extensions of pushing into schools. Like, can't wait. We'll be at the 9th grade campus at Douglas, and we're working through things at Washington, and we'll be able to meet the needs for more kids. But it's never been our desire to say, 2,500 kids came through our program in 1 year. There's no way we could serve 2,500 kids unless somebody gets us on Mackenzie Scott's radar, right? Unless somebody sends us a $5 or $10 million donation, and we can have hay houses all over the city and all over the region, and we can hire staff, right, of 100 people. We would love to serve as many kids as possible, but we're going to grow as the need grows and as the ability to serve those kids grow. And so that is why days like this on Giving Tuesday, it is so important. I know that y'all are inundated with emails and social media and all of that. And we're asking you on behalf of the entire nonprofit community, we're asking you to bear with us, just like you bared with those companies with those Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals via emails and text messages and radio ads and all of that. We're asking that you extend us the same courtesy on this day so that we can help raise just a little bit more money, as most of us are really kicking off our end of year, end of season kind of fundraising campaigns. And we're going to run this all the way through December 31st. So if we don't hit our goal today, that is fine. This is the kickoff to that end of year fundraising campaign so that we can end the year strong. We can make sure that we're able to serve our families well. So this next one I'm going to bring up, you all are going to hear a little bit more from Coach Boyd, actually, why he does the work that he does. So as I cue that up, we want you all to go over to helpandempoweryouth.org. From there, you can do the / and hit Giving Tuesday, or you'll see it up at the top of the menu. and whatever it is, $5, $2, it all makes a difference. Believe me, I get a lot of $2.50 requests because martyr cards, martyr passes. So don't discount your $5. I promise you, it will go a long way. Matter of fact, I just sent $20 to 3 kids for them to be able to get martyr cards and get their first round trip, so that when they see us, we can then reload those cards once we get the number off the back of them. So I'm telling you, your $2, your $5, your $10, it goes to our babies and it makes a big, big difference. But here's Coach Boyd.
Coach Boyd, co-founder, director of programming, and chairman of the board here at Help and Empower Youth. I do what I do for Hey because if I did not do it, I feel as though we would find ourselves exterminated as a race without the lack of these skills that I'm teaching. It is important that we finish these renovations because attempting to build the airplane while you're in it in the sky is difficult to do. I've added all that I can into the programming as we build, right? But building a retaining wall isn't a long-term sustainable programming structure, right? I should be teaching them how to garden already. But alas, we don't have $30,000 in the budget to pay somebody to come in and do it in a weekend. So I have to learn how to do it and do it myself and teach them how to do it at the same time without anybody losing limbs, hitting anyone over the head with a shovel, or being buried in the wall themselves. So that is the importance of finishing the renovations. That's the importance of finishing the renovations so we can focus on programming. That's the importance. Something I want others to know about Hey is that KaCey and I put our lives into this. It's not something that is a hobby or just some weekend kind of thing that we do. I quit my career to do this, not my job, my career of 18 years making airplanes at the world's biggest defense contractor, to do this full time, to invest in it full time, and to ensure that the next generation gets what I think is the blessings of the knowledge that myself and the men and women that we choose to provide examples for these children.
And that was a little bit from Coach Boyd. So we're always excited to have his perspective and all of the experience that he brings to the table as well. So we're going to keep this party rolling just a little bit longer. We have 2 more videos to share with you, and then we're going to call it the evening. But I'm hoping that you have gone on over to our website to make a donation for our Giving Tuesday campaign. So as I'm cueing this, we're going to hear from Anthony Wilson, who is a supporter of Hey, and we love supporters because they are our eyes and ears in community, and we hope that we are serving so well that they speak our name in rooms that we're not even in. And so that is just a little shout out to my friends CJ and Kelly Stewart over at Lead Atlanta for Youth. They were highlighted and recognized recently at a Hawks game through a program that Adidas has. And, they're a sports-based program. And I'm always sharing their stuff. People sometimes make comments to me about how much I share of other organizations, particularly organizations that serve the same demographic that Hey serves. And so here's the thing, right? Before I cue up Anthony's video. There are so many kids to serve that it's going to take all of us. It doesn't mean that everybody needs to create new organizations, because we got a lot. And we're all clamoring, right, and competing for these same dollars in a lot of sense. But what I've learned is that there's no competition amongst people who do this work for love and out of love and for love. there is only collaboration and being able to celebrate and support other people who selflessly give to young people, particularly Black and brown young people, and even more specifically, Black boys, right? For me, always hold a very special place in my heart. And so again, you start calling names and get in trouble, but there's a couple of us over here on this West Side that I know get this thing right. And that is CJ and Kelly over at LEAD, and that is Maria and Tangi over at Raising Expectations. And so I'm just really excited to be in this work with our brother and my sisters so that we can serve our young people and serve them well. So I mentioned all of that and that little ramble that I just did because that was the exchange that CJ and I had the last time we spoke, when I congratulated them and I shared them on my stories. And he mentioned that, you know, he and his wife are fans of me and the work that we do over at Hey. And I'm like, the feeling is mutual. And then we both mutually said to each other almost at the same time that we are committed to speaking each other's names in rooms that we're not in. And that is the only way that we're going to get what we need for our young people, is when we understand what partnership and collaboration looks like over competition. What did Jay-Z say? Nobody wins when the family feuds, right? And so we're family. We're in this together. So all of that as I prep for Anthony Wilson and for you all to hear his thoughts about why he supports this work at Hey.
Anthony Wilson. I am a fan and supporter of Hey. So organizations like Hey were founded to support those who oftentimes traditional services and capitalism leave behind. It's for those who are most vulnerable in our city, those who do have to sell water in order to survive. Philanthropy can fill a gap where other systems and services aren't. Particularly for Hey, I, as a supporter of Hey myself, I understand how dollars translate into results for kids and how each dollar is so important for outcomes for each of those students. It's important that we support organizations that are doing the hard work of filling the gap where traditional services and the city have left behind. What funders need to know is that you may not see or hear of organizations like Hey because they're on the ground doing the hard work. They are knocking on doors, they are recruiting kids, they are doing the work that's necessary, and oftentimes they don't have the big budgets in order to hire staff to do development. They don't have someone to go talk to people who can give money, right? And so it's really important that the philanthropic community understands that organizations like Hey that are doing the work need all the support that they can get in order to continue to do the necessary work. Hey's dope. It's my favorite, honestly, my favorite nonprofit in the city. When I first moved to Atlanta, you can't help but see the young men on the corner selling water, right? And as a former teacher, I'm like, well, as a former high school teacher, I'm like, well, what's happening? Why are they out here? Like, what are the services? And I found Hey, and I was like, oh, there's someone trying to solve this unique problem. And it was near and dear to my heart. So Hey was one of the first organizations that I came to love in the city. And I think that they're actually solving a problem. And so that's why I love Hey so much. And people should know that just the work that it does, the vastness of it, right? So it's not only sit in the spit or like you come to the Hey house and you learn something. It's actually, Hey cares about the whole life of a child. Hey cares about what's happening in the morning to what's happening in the evening. Did you eat? Have you showered? Have you taken your girlfriend on a date? Right? And so I think that the ambition of the organization matches the beauty and infinity of each of the boys, no matter where they come from or how they got here. Hey seems to try to reflect back to them someone that they may not see in hopes to build them into that person. Organizations like Hey are often overlooked because they're not sexy enough, right? They don't have the right networks, and they don't have, the leader didn't go, join the right things and all these things. I think organizations like Hey are overlooked because people don't want to solve these problems if it doesn't seem as there's a big return on investment. When you think about the boys that Hey serves, it's boys who other folks have given up on, right? And so when you think about when someone's giving money, they're thinking about return on investment. They're like, well, if everyone else has given up on these boys, then like this extra, like throwing back, cash behind it might not work. And so I think that folks overlook it because they don't believe what KaCey Benning believes about these boys, and what the team at Hay believes about these boys. And so we just need more people who believe, as similarly as the board of Hay and the leaders of Hay, the staff of Hay, how they believe. We need more people, more folks with more money, deeper pockets to believe what we believe about Hay.
Believe. I love that word because it's true, right? You have to trust that there is a method to our madness. I know folks come and I finished a fellowship or a cohort. I don't know the appropriate terms anymore for a lot of things, but I finished one with Sage. And so Sage is a service as a software as a service, a SaaS company, so to speak. And they're based out of Australia and the UK, and they have a home office here in Atlanta. Anyway, I did a presentation and a cohort with them. And so some of the Sage employees that were connected to our work and were mentoring me came to visit. And it was this idea of seeing their eyes wide open to this organized chaos of kids all over the place doing 100 different things, right? And all the adults knowing exactly where to pivot and what tone to use with what kid, like at the drop of a hat, because we have relationship with them, we're spending time with them. And so it is not your traditional come in, sit down, right? Get your pens, get your pencils, get your tablets. Let's line up over here. Let's set the timer. It really is a safe space for them to be, so that we can get to the heart of what do they need. So we take this case management approach to the work so that we know that we're really meeting the needs of these individual young people, which again is why we don't have 100 kids in our space at one time, because it's hard to really know intimately what that young person needs when we're trying to divide ourselves amongst so many young folks. But we love the work we do. So this last one is going to end with the young person, and this one is going to end with Eli, and he is going to share. No, we did Eli. This one's going to end with Santonio. And so Santonio is going to share with you all why he participates in Hay.
Antonio, I'm a youth participant. Hay means opportunity and assistance because we help a lot of people and we get a lot of help. And so either way it go, on both ends of the stick is good. I feel like Hay has taught us so far to be self-sufficient. So either way it go, I feel like I'll be able to make it. In terms of like archery, when we first started, I wouldn't have just outright said anybody was the best, because it's a learning process. But now I will outright say that I'm the best. Another example is we learned transferable skills, right? So not just like archery specifically, but archery was the biggest one, because there was a lot of people saying that I wasn't the best. So I had to just make it known on camera that I was the best. But like transferable skills such as we're going to start ham radio. We've been doing, what was it called, Coach Boyd? The Tide.
Knots.
Yeah, the knots. I'm talking about the name of the cord so I can.
Paracord.
Paracord. We've been working with Paracord. We're going to start ham radio. We've been doing a little bushcraft training, not too much, but just beginner level, out in the back we're working on a garden. I feel like people should know about the things that we do and the impact that we have on other people, like the things that we do. Like, for example, I wouldn't go around and be like, oh, nah, every Saturday, bro, we handing out plates, bro. Every Saturday we giving out food. I'd just be like, well, Saturdays, we give back to our community. We'll have a barbecue at the house and we chill, handle our business, and at the end of the day, go home, handle the rest of our day. But I just say I would like people to know the impact we had.
Awesome. So that's Antonio sharing. And as you can see in here, we do lots of things. So you heard archery and building retaining walls and building businesses and water filters. And, I'll insert this here because there's a lot of conversation that happens with young men. And, the last couple of, over the winter break, my DMs on my Instagram was blowing up because a very amazing artist did kind of a satire or a spoof on the Disney movies, and it was, called Waterboy, and everybody was hyping it up like, wouldn't it be dope if this really was a movie? And I was torn. I'll be honest with you. A lot of our more popular um information sites here in Atlanta was reposting it. And again, every time it got reposted, my inbox kept blowing up because people know the work that Hey and that I and the Coach Boyd, among others. So Ian, right, with glaciers, ice. They do snow cone and shaved ice, glaciers, ice. So Ian works. We got Chris, right, that really works with a couple of the young men who really took the Water Boys in the Hood brand to the next level. And we got just other folks. It's not just us, but I think there's been just a couple of us who've been very vocal about not just getting them off the street, but helping to effectuate change in policy and also change the narrative of what it means to be called a water boy, and what does that bring up for people. What kind of narrative and imagery does that elicit when you hear that term? And so when folks were sending it to me, I was like, oh, it's cute, right? And then I try my best not to read the comments, but sometimes I do. And so reading the comments, and people will say, oh, but if only they were that cute in real life. And this is why I want you to really go and look at the whole entire video, little mini video that we did, because Sterling Johnson really talks about the importance of us seeing these young people as children, as youth, as kids, right? They're not grown men, they're not adults, and we can't treat them as such. I don't want to say regardless of their behavior, because there is accountability. And a good deal of them are old enough to quote unquote know right from wrong. But it's so nuanced in this idea of what are we ultimately solving for when we're trying to move these young people off of these street corners from selling water, and really tapping into where does this aggression come from that is usually steeped in anger. And we know that anger is usually steeped in fear. And what are you fearful of? It goes back to that idea that if you were born in Atlanta, you only have a 4% chance of getting born in poverty in Atlanta, you only have a 4% chance of getting out of poverty in Atlanta. And so if you're fearful of whether or not you're going to eat the next day, or whether or not you're going to walk down the street and catch a stray bullet, then that fear turns into anger, and then anger turns into aggression. And when you're on the corner and literally it is life or death for you in terms of getting money to sustain yourself and your family, and you get told one more no, right? It doesn't excuse the behavior, but we have to understand it in order to help them then divert it and change it and move it into something else. And so it brought up all those feelings for me, because while people stand on one side of the line that's been drawn in the sand, either you for the quote unquote water boys or you're not. And then there's some people who teeter, right? They're not sure which side of the line to stand on. I think it's important to know that we can't just codify this into a cute little meme. And we have to understand why they're out there in the first place. And if we're going to move them from that place, then what are we moving them to? And that's always been my question when people's like, well, they need to do something else. Well, what is the something else? And then if you tell me, well, they need to be in school, okay, but being in school is important, and we make sure that they know that that's the priority, that nothing we do happens outside of them being in school, whether that's getting them in GED programs, getting them re-enrolled, having to incentivize them. School is important, but some of them really are out here taking care of themselves and their families. So I don't want to digress too much into that, but the idea of this waterboard thing came up, and then the idea of what was happening with the actual brand. And so let me just be very clear about this. Those are still our boys. Those are still my boys, right? When we started this work, we understand that not everything is for everybody. and that some of them really love the interaction between folks and the salesmanships, and so they ran with it, and they worked with Chris, and they really elevated. Like, I was so proud to see my babies up there with DC Young Fly and on the 85 South show. And they've been doing podcasts, and Jay Morrison and with Cam Newton. Like, I'm cheering them on like a proud mama. It's never been competition. It's always partnership and collaboration over here. Because at the end of the day, when those children, those young people, those young adults still have needs that have a critical response to their humanness, it's still Miss KaCey that they call to ensure that I'm helping to walk them through those things. So I just wanted to put that out there. For anybody who thinks that there's some kind of chasm, some kind of line drawn, there's no line drawn. Those are my babies, right? I'm still Miss KaCey to them. I'm going to support them till I have not one breath left in my body. I'm going to make sure that they're still good, right? That they are building their businesses. We support them every turn and every chance we get. And just like other businesses, be careful of grouping them all in together, because people have also seen the popularity of that brand. And it's easy to pull logos off of sites and then recreate them and then bring a disparaging image to the hard work that these young men have done. So to Kai and to Trip, who really are the leaders over there, I salute them. I'm so proud of them. They all graduated from high school. They're all making money in a very safe and legal manner, and they're looking for ways to just really grow as adults. And so for me, that is the end goal. And for those who stay connected to Hey on a day-to-day basis, the same thing. We're going to make sure they get there too. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that, because I get a lot of folks not knowing how to support, what to do, or just not knowing. At the end of the day, those are still, personally for me, those are still my babies. And as an organization, we're going to support young people. That's the bottom line there. So thank y'all for hanging with me for about an hour to hear from other folks and other voices. I really do want you all to head over to the YouTube page. There you can see the full length videos of these stories and these video testimonials. If you are connected to us on social media, we're all over the place. So that you see the little snippets and get them in digestible bites. But we really do want you to head on over to the YouTube page and to view the videos in their entirety. They're 40 minutes and under, so they're not long. Play it while you're making dinner, while you're settling in, play it while you're driving home, sitting in Atlanta traffic, right? Make good use of your time. And we hope that you find, hey, good ground to sow in, and that you all are able to make a contribution. If not today, we have till the end of the year. Again, Giving Tuesday kicks off our end of year giving campaign so that we can end the year strong and prep for our brand new 2024. So we thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.